Hello, Owl Pals. This is Big Al. Welcome to Big Al Presents Films with Friends. The film Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory from 1971. The absolute classic
Yep.
musical fantasy epic candy-coated film of all time. One of the films, and the reason I wanted to do this one and the one we're going to be doing next week is I remember seeing these films in the movie theater when I was a kid and just absolutely getting lost in that world of pure imagination.
Mm-hmm.
And before I explain what happened next week to those who don't know, like I said, I just told you what the film is, but the friends are, of course, the wonderful candy-coated Pacellis. We have Mr. Troy Pacelli in his Wonkerific hat. How are you doing, sir?
Doing very well. Very excited. 1971. This film is as old as I am. I was born in 71.
I was but a wee lad of 6 when this film came out.
In case there's any doubt about my fandom of this film, I've got my Mego action figure of Willy Wonka.
That is awesome.
I have my Wonka bar, which is real chocolate.
Cool.
But very old. Will not be opened. Not sure it's still any good. I'm sure it tastes as terrible as it would if it had a golden ticket in it.
It may taste as terrible if it was one of the original Wonka bars, which were basically made of wood.
Most of them were made of wood.
Most of them were wood, and sadly, many of them lost. Only a few still exist and would be worth quite a chunk of change. And
very true.
I know. I think it's the one who played Veruca Salt, Julie Dawn Cole, has one, I believe, in her collection, or did.
She did, yes.
She also had a everlasting gobstopper, a golden ticket, and I know they gave her an egg too. One of the
egg,
big eggs.
Believe it or not, the egg was a real egg, so she kept it until it went bad, and she had to get rid of it. The golden ticket she sold, and it is now on display at a chocolate shop, at a sweet shop.
Yep.
And the gobstopper she sold when the remake film came out, and it went for some undisclosed amount of money.
And speaking of the absolute sweetest things on earth, here is the lovely Nanette of Netters Network. How are you doing, dear sweet lady?
I am doing just peachy.
That is so nice.
I am actually all set with my, I don't know if you can see, my Hershey's bars. And
Wonka
my
light
Reese's.
tonight.
Exactly.
So I got chocolate.
There you go.
Big Al, what you sipping on?
I am sipping on the Virgin Limoncello, of course, my regular Crystal Light lemonade. What are you guys drinking tonight?
What are you sipping on, Troy?
Well, I made Netter and I chocolate martinis and
very appropriate.
Some various flavors of chocolate shots in chocolate cups that you can even eat.
Very good.
Is it good?
Yes!
You've been waiting for 2 weeks to do that since we weren't able to do it last week, and I know many of you
that
know,
really was good.
But let me explain what happened last week. Last week I was having a power issue on my old computer. I'd been meaning to get a new one and been putting it off because of this whole Windows 11 thing. I decided I'm going to wait till Windows 11's out and I can get one preloaded. So I fired up my computer last week, Saturday night, like early, just to do normal stuff, and it kept cutting off. There was something going on in the power cord. Now, that computer had been cracked, dropped, God knows how many times, and I believe there was something with the power connection wasn't quite right. So I took an older computer that I had, which is basically a glorified netbook now. It only had 2 gigs of RAM, and it just did not have the power to do what I needed it to do, and it just froze up when I got on StreamYard. Even though I tried earlier in the night to get on StreamYard with the Professor Geek, just to kind of see if it worked, and it was working. It was a little sluggish, but it was working. But I think with two extra, and then with the film and the chat, it just didn't have the power I needed it to do.
Yeah.
So, got a new computer this week, a new Dell, and with Windows 11, a little i5, 8 gig, 256 hard drive, and I'm very pleased. It used to be in the old days when you got a new computer, it took a day to like get this thing straight. It really only took a couple hours to because you got to reload all your passwords and stuff, and then you got to remember what your passwords are. So that was the hard part, but I'm up and running now. I've only had a problem with the Alexa app and my photo app, but I got the photo app straight, I think.
Now, does it have the one thing you had said that you wanted in a new computer, which was a DVD drive?
Oh, no. I'm going to buy an external DVD drive.
Actually, Nanette and I were talking about that, and I said it's really gotten hard to find laptops that have drives built in.
Yeah, they're phasing it out because everything's on the cloud nowadays.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to get a DVD drive in it, it would have just been so much more, and I would have probably had to have opted for an older one. And I knew I wanted SSD because I didn't want to have the hard, the sound all the time. The spinning mechanical problems always kind of seem to go awry. But let's welcome the chat. See who's here besides Nanette saying hi to everyone.
She is the cheerleader on every channel she's a wrench on.
Nothing wrong with that. Team Ghost Planet 3.0, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad to see that name is kind of stuck for a while. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome. Troy is Wonka, edible wooden Wonka bars. Yeah, they weren't edible. Well, I guess you could eat them if you're desperate. Beavers.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit more as we get into it. There was more than just the wooden ones.
Yeah. Joshua V, hello. I think that we were showing one of the movie adaptations earlier this evening. One of the book movie adaptations earlier this evening. On HBO Max. I wouldn't be surprised. It's very weird how often a film will appear after I've scheduled it to watch, and then suddenly it's on AMC or something.
Maybe they're watching your channel and they're going, hey, Big Al Presents is going to be doing a Films with Friends of this movie. Maybe we should make it available. It's becoming popular again.
Yeah. Evelyn Hampton, welcome. Of course, there's Troy again. Yep. And I think that's everybody that I believe got in there so far. Just so glad that everyone has joined us. Team Ghost Planet 3.0, you brought up Tim Burton. Yeah. Now, I want to say I had doubts when I heard that this movie was being remade. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, Tim Burton, of anybody, I think that would be the right person.
I can see that connection because Roald Dahl and Tim Burton have a synergistic sensibility, I think.
And I think what happened is Tim Burton just made a lot of the wrong choices.
You mean the additions?
And it just went off the rails. I watched it. I liked some of the things. The effects, of course, were great.
Sure.
But it didn't have the magic that Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory do. This is a film that when I was 6 years old, I remember watching and just being amazed. It helped formulate my love of the fantastic, the mysterious, just the unknown world, that fantasy just became so important to me at that point in my life, and it helped shape. And the film we're going to do next week, The Seven Faces of Dr. Lowe, very much the same way. Although I saw it a little later than its initial release because it actually came out, I was a little too young, or I think it was 64, so I wasn't even born yet. But when I saw that, I did see it when I was young, and it just is an amazing two films to help build my love of the fantastic, and just had been wanting to do them. Thought let's do them both in the same month. And I do want to thank Nanette for allowing me to do this one today when it was originally her week. And I thought, and I didn't have a chance to bring it up beforehand, but I thought as a way of balancing it, because you're about to do Back to the Future. Were you going to keep that, like, were you going to do this like after the new year?
We could.
Or were you going to start? Because with the holidays here kind of coming up and everything, I was going to start thinking about how. And I know on the 20th you're going to do Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving, right?
The 27th.
The 27th. That's right. Sorry, I'm a little weird. Yeah, the 20th is mine, and the 27th is yours. Yeah, but I was thinking
Charlie Brown there, and then I could do Back to the Future on the 11th, which is my birthday.
Because I was actually thinking if you wanted to do the 3 weeks straight in a row of those three films, were you going to do all three Back to the Futures?
Oh, actually, I hadn't thought.
Well, Nanette and I hadn't talked too much about that. And I was going, obviously it's her thing. She can make whatever decision she wants. But my suggestion to her was going to be to really think about whether she wanted to even do the second and third movie. Just because, let's face it, the first one's iconic. The second and third ones are good, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. But I thought if that wasn't the decision, okay, so we'll leave this one for to be determined.
Yeah.
But I just thought if you did it, it would be better to do it
together.
1, 2, 3 as opposed to 2, 4, 6.
Let's talk about it after the movie.
When I get to G, I'll go with The Godfather.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh wow. But yeah, we'll talk about that later. But I do want to thank Nanette for kind of giving me this week.
Dude, we were so bummed last week. I mean, I was like to Netter, I'm like, this is one of my favorite movies. I'm gonna do anything I can to make sure, to get you back up and running as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and I appreciate everyone's concern. Yeah, it just basically sped up the timeline for me a little bit. I'd been searching, and I kind of had whittled it down to 2 choices, and I decided to go with the higher end one to kind of a little bit of room to grow.
I've been really, really looking forward to this. Do you mind if I front load it with some trivia?
Sure, go ahead.
Specifically because you were just talking about the 2005 Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Did you know that Gene Wilder shared his thoughts about the sequel?
I have heard some of the opinions that he had, yes.
He had said that he enjoyed Johnny Depp's performance as Willy Wonka, but he disliked the film as a whole. He was not a fan of Tim Burton as a director of that film, and he said he felt generally insulted by the film having been remade. Now, I do also know that, and everybody talks about this, so let's just say this up front. Roald Dahl, who wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the book this is based on, very similar kind of story to P.L. Travers and what's that? Mary Poppins. Did not like Mary Poppins, did not like the decisions that were made. Roald Dahl felt the same way. He didn't like it made into a musical. He didn't like the changes. He didn't like all the literary references.
Right.
And yet these are the things that the fans point to as the things they love the most.
Right. And there was Roald Dahl basically just became angry, and even after when this film came out, he decided not to give anyone the rights ever to do Charlie the Great Glass Elevator, which would have been awesome to see.
I've always wanted to see that done as a sequel to this, but now I don't see that as possible.
I would never want to see it now. And I also want to say that Peter Ostrom, who plays Charlie, had one of the most awesome tweets
I did have that in my notes.
when Gene Wilder passed away.
I didn't find out about this until I was researching in just before last week, and I swear to you, I was in tears when
It did. It kind of chokes you up. He when he died, he was basically said the date, and it says as of 16 August or whatever it was, owner of a chocolate factory, or something to that effect.
Yeah, no. What he said was he changed his social media profile to read former child actor, veterinarian, inherited a chocolate factory on 29 August 2016.
Right, and it was just the perfect little way of doing that, I thought.
You know, he said that because, and you know how the film go. I mean, I don't think anybody that's going to be watching this with us is seeing it for the first time. You may be.
Spoilers.
Yeah, there may be some spoilers.
Actually, Evelyn Hampton's not seen this film.
Really?
But I know that Evelyn knows the basic concept of the story. As the story goes, the children that are up to be, I don't want to give away the ending, but the children succumb to their baser instincts. And Charlie is the last one left at the end of the movie. And to a certain degree, although filming is always done out of order, by the end of filming, he was the last child, in the cast. So Peter Ostrom, mentioned that towards the end of the shoot, he was the last kid left, and he and Gene Wilder often ate lunch together.
Right.
Fittingly, they finished those lunches by sharing a chocolate bar for dessert.
Yeah, it was so sweet. It was so sweet. Yeah, everybody loved Gene Wilder while they were doing this film. I understand. It seemed like it was a very happy set, except for maybe some of the issues surrounding some of the, we'll talk about it. As
some of the special effects, we'll get to those.
Yeah, some of the special effects did have some issues with them, but we'll get to that. And speaking of getting to the film, here, I'm starting just after the little Warner Brothers intro, just at the first note of the music that starts the movie, just as we see all the chocolate starting. So on the MP4, it would be at about 17 seconds. Okay. So if you're right about there, or if everybody, I give everybody a moment to get about there.
I'm 18 seconds.
Or 18.
I'm 19.
Or 19. So we're all around.
We'll pause accordingly as you do your countdown.
Yeah. Or I might hit like on the 2 or something. Or
Team Ghost Planet says Willy Wonka as a slasher film would be scary.
I've seen fan edits of it. Yeah,
I will say, if anybody's ever seen the new Banana Splits movie that Sci-Fi did,
I'm good.
You kind of get an idea of taking like a cherished childhood icon and turning it into.
Yeah, something tells me I probably would not care for that.
It was actually kind of funny. I enjoyed it for what it was. Just a bizarre thing. But getting ready, let's enjoy. The wonderful world of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory in 3, 2, 1. David L. Whopper presents Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
So these opening credit sequence filmed at a Toblerone chocolate factory in Switzerland.
If everybody recognizes Toblerone, that's kind of like Jack Albertson, the man from Chico and the Man, also produced by David L. Whopper. David L. Whopper did a lot of stuff. I
had such a crush on Julie Dawn Cole. I really did.
Oh, you like the little
Dodo?
Oh, I missed that. And introducing Peter Ostrom in his one and only film.
Mm-hmm. He said that the filming for this was so grueling, he didn't really want to continue in that career.
Yeah.
He's now a veterinarian.
Yeah, but he and all the kid stars have remained close all these years.
Yep.
In fact, the two girls had like huge crushes on him.
Yep, they sure did.
It's at introducing him So does that mean that the other kids had actor roles before?
Actually, Julie Dawn Cole and
Denise Nickerson. And,
Denise Nickerson actually definitely did, yes.
Interesting.
And Paris Stephen has done other things, too.
But the reason they single him out is because he's basically
Charlie.
the star of the film.
Yeah, he's Charlie.
Yeah, in fact, Julie Dawn Cole has done... She was in Poldark.
Yep.
And kind of showed some stuff.
It was because of Julie Dawn Cole that I kind of really was keen on women in nurses' uniforms.
Screenplay by Roald Dahl, and that's basically false because he kind of started it, but he didn't really finish it.
Yeah, there were legal reasons that they had to put that down for him, but he wasn't pleased with it.
But
Mel Stewart was really the driving force behind all the decisions here.
Yeah, he did it, but I think David Seltzer was the primary writer to it, uncredited.
The film was originally financed by Quaker Oats Company. This was kind of their idea. They wanted to get into the candy game.
Yeah,
and it really didn't work out for them.
No, the first candy bar they put out kind of had a very low melting temperature.
Yep.
And it literally melted on shelves, which did not work out for them.
Mm-hmm.
Filmed in Germany, which gives it kind of a nice old world, almost timeless look.
Here's what's interesting. He's passing out the candy, but I don't see him collecting any money.
No, but later when Charlie wants one bar, he's like, "Give me the money, kid. Give me the money."
Exactly. Same year this film was released, Aubrey Woods, who played Bill, the sweet shop owner, appeared as the controller in Doctor Who's 1963 serial Day of the Dalek. Mm-hmm. John Pertwee, the third Doctor, was in the show at that time. He was up for the role of Willy Wonka, but turned it down specifically because of Doctor Who.
Yeah, it conflicted with the timing.
Yep.
And I know Roald Dahl wanted Spike Milligan, who was a kind of a British star. Mm-hmm. He wanted him to play Willy Wonka.
Also up for the role, a favorite of mine, Michael Crawford.
And Joel Grey was also considered. Right. Actually, there were a lot of actors considered. That would be such a cool job, to be a candy store owner. I don't think you would make a lot of money.
Probably not, but it would be...
Yeah,
it would pay off in other ways.
Yeah, we had a candy store close to where I lived for a while. That was really neat. You know, it's just you go in there and it wasn't like Wonka-esque type, but
right,
like everywhere you look, it's candy. And I went right to the gummy section.
He hit that girl in the face with
yes, he did.
Yep.
It's like he bopped her, she jerked her head back. And
that was a complete accident, and they just left it in.
Okay, pushing the kids on that thing, man, that's an insurance issue.
OSHA regulations.
I like that. Fickle Gruber's Fudges.
Fickle Gruber's is actually one of the, like Slugworth, rival of Wonka's in the books.
Yeah, with a name like
and
Fickle,
Charlie can't afford
be good.
to join the other kids.
Well, why not? They got everything for free.
Maybe there's something in that. He doesn't like poor people.
Yep, that's one of the theories. I tell you, when you're that age, though, even a few quarters meant the world.
And yet, what does he do? He doesn't go back and buy himself a chocolate.
No.
You know?
Charlie's a good kid.
Yes. That's the whole point.
He's just the perfect, responsible adult. I mean, not adult, but kid who has to act like an adult because of what's going on with his family. Wonka. I think that
How
was.
cool is that?
I don't know. It's just so creepy.
The Tinker here is quoting The Fairies by
Yeah.
William Allingham.
And no one ever comes out.
And nobody ever comes out.
God, I love those cleavers.
We had a tinker that used to come to our neighborhood, and my mother always listened for his bell, and she'd run out with her knives.
Yeah.
My mom too. She'd
Yep.
have us bring out all the knives, and he'd come back a few days later and have them
They
all
were-
wrapped up in butcher paper, all done.
Nice.
All sharp and clean and ready to go. I've thought about getting like a sharpening kit and like putting out a little notice like anybody needs their knives sharpened, I'll do it for X amount of
Al,
knives.
there's videos on YouTube how to do it.
Oh, I know. I watch because I
So,
like knives. I like knives.
Here's Netter's icon. Did you know that Jean Stapleton was the first choice to play Mike TV's mother, not this character?
Right.
And she turned it down in favor of doing a television pilot. The series ended up airing that year, All in the Family.
Yeah, it did fairly well for her.
Yeah.
Edith. God love Edith. Jean Stapleton was such a sweetheart.
She was. I love this. It's like he's having an attitude, right?
He is so proud. He is
Yep.
providing for his family.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like cabbage water. So
Do you see the reaction from Grandpa Joe? This is beautiful.
Yeah.
When a loaf of bread looks like a banquet, I have no right buying tobacco.
Now, I've always thought, when I was a kid, you hear cabbage water and you're like, bleh. But as an adult,
It's not terrible.
I kind of like that water that comes like after you boil cabbage.
Yep.
I love cabbage.
Well,
I love
basically, they
greens.
were drinking cabbage flavored water
Water,
for
yeah.
their meal. That's
Yeah.
not filling in the slightest.
Yeah.
Nah.
That's what it means to be poor.
Yeah.
Get used to it, people, the more you see the bare aisles at the stores.
And of course, the modern poor person food, ramen noodles.
Yeah, true.
25 cents, man, fill you right up.
And so here we're getting the lore on, Wonka. Yes.
Yes. And the modern remake kind of goes, I think, a little overboard with all this stuff. I think it's perfectly done right here as the story a grandfather is telling his grandson.
And it has a double purpose. It's not just an exposition dump. It's establishing that relationship between Grandpa Joe and Charlie.
Yeah.
I love this
It's
guy.
I do too.
love this guy.
From Crawl.
Yep.
Crawl. He was always great. He's in an episode of Are You Being not Are You Being Served, but as time goes by.
Oh,
He's
yes.
He's on for just a very short time, but it's very funny. It's like his wife's name Melinda. He's like bloody Melinda. It's like the way he says it. No longer with us, sadly.
Yeah. The teacher is presumptuous and rude. Do I make myself clear? Charlie's like, I don't know nothing.
Yeah, it's like, do you know what this makes? I don't know. No, because it would be presumptuous of you
Yes.
to know.
I do love that guy. Very big wants.
Listen for big words.
Yeah, David Batley is the actor.
Class undismissed.
Class redismissed.
Well,
I love
you can
those
play
desks.
Wonka Bars.
Dismissed.
I love those old desks, though, man.
Yeah. And Charlie's in no freaking hurry. What's he going to do with that
Nah,
information?
he's got time off now. Now, I will say, as a kid, I used to love this kind of. It almost gave it a documentary feel,
Yes, I agree with you.
and you get all this like news report kind of stuff. And it also reminds me of like Rudolph the
They're all
Red-Nosed
crazy.
Reindeer,
Man's a genius.
Year Without a Santa Claus, when they have this whole, they give information that's going out at the news. Melissa looked up snozberries, and it's disgusting.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you took away
We'll
one
talk
of
about that
Troy's
a little bit
talking
more when we
points.
get to the
Here's the
lickable
thing,
wallpaper.
it's like it's in Wonka bars, so I'm presuming that there's a specific bar of chocolate called a Wonka bar.
Yes.
So not the Scrumptious, not the other one, just Wonka bar.
The
Why are
Wonka
they buying
bar.
the other ones?
Well, that's fair.
I love this guy. I love this
Right?
psychiatrist. And what did he say?
Where's that ticket?
Like 5 lucky bolts of lightning. Love this guy's voice.
Yeah. Great voice for, a commentator.
Yeah, he does.
Well, he's a commentator, like you said, so he's got to have a good voice.
Yeah, Stephen Dunn.
Dusselheim, Germany. Absolutely.
He was a radio personality and a disc jockey.
So, Augustus Gloop's interview was filmed at a real restaurant in Munich. Most of the cast members were there for lunch during the time of the movie was being filmed. The restaurant is called, forgive me, I'm going to do my best, Hofbraukeller, and was completely rebuilt after a fire in late 1980s.
And the little actor playing Augustus hated sausage. And he had to eat
Yes,
it.
specifically knockwurst. He hated it and he had to act like he enjoyed it.
Yeah.
What was he eating that he didn't like?
Knockwurst.
Yeah.
He also, at this time, did not speak a word of English.
Yeah, it was all phonetic for him, I think.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Charlie's mom is hot, man. She's a beautiful woman. She needs to find herself a
This
sugar
gentleman right here, Ernest Ziegler, who played Grandpa George, he was nearly blind. He was he got hit by poison gas in World War One.
I think it was
So he was
mustard gas.
instructed to look at a red light to guide him to the characters that he was supposed to be paying attention to or talking to.
Did you read his shoe story?
No.
You got the wrong
Yes,
Wonka
yes,
bar.
I did. I'd forgotten
Yeah.
about that. But go ahead, tell him about that.
He had at the time they would do the filming, he would put his shoes under the bed.
Yep.
Well, there's a scene later where they're dancing and they have a shot under the bed, and the director didn't want his shoes there, so he told him to move his shoes. But he was afraid to lose his shoes because he had them since before the World War II.
Before the war, yes.
And he begged, and the director finally said, "Okay, just keep them under the bed." But you've got to be comfy with people to share four to a big old bed.
I
like
do want to
that.
call out this scene. He's bothered by the fact that Grandpa Joe used the money that was originally for his tobacco to buy him the gift. But he's like, I told you I'm giving it up. I wanted to do this thing. Mm-hmm. Then he tries to share his chocolate with everyone, and they didn't want to take it because they wanted him to enjoy it.
Oh, I just want to smack her.
I know she is the most.
I
smackable
know,
character
but she
in
was so
history.
cute.
Roy Kinnear, by the way,
Right?
what a great actor. Make him look nice.
Yes.
which establishes them.
Yay! A 1 pound bonus.
But in England at this time, that was actually quite a nice little bonus.
Maybe true. Interestingly, think about this. This is a little bit of trivia that's pretty obvious to anyone who watches this movie and pays attention. She is the only one who doesn't actually find the golden ticket herself.
Right.
She finds it because of privilege.
It's such a great one. She's wonderful at playing the little bitch, but she was supposed to be a very sweet girl.
She was
in real life.
She was, yes.
She
Now,
is
see,
the one
technically,
that I dislike the most
she
of
should
all
have
the
been
5
alive.
kids.
And yet I thought she was the prettiest one.
Okay, here's the other thing.
But
They
it's
all
also
stopped shelling now that one ticket was found. What if there's another ticket in there that they don't know about? Because they still got a zillion bars
Well,
left to go.
that's true. That's true.
But they stopped after that one.
But now they
So-
can use the ones that they haven't done and sell them at a profit.
You have a
That's
good
true.
point there, yes.
How about a good spanking?
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned that what happens to the kids, it's also an indictment of the parent. In every one. It's like, you didn't stop your kid from eating, you didn't stop your little girl from being a little bitch. Your kid just chews and chews and chews, and you let your kid watch TV all day.
If you think about it, this is probably what you'd expect. We've seen enough things like this. Pan Am.
That plane.
So this is Boeing 707. Okay.
You know the story then behind that
Yes.
plane.
Jet Clipper. It was named Jet Clipper Climax. It was destroyed in a crash in Bali, Indonesia, 1974. 107 lives lost.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Troy brings down the entire chat.
That's okay. We got plenty of good stuff coming. This scene was actually the last scene filmed in the whole movie.
Yep. There's literally luggage all over the place out of the shot because they were packing up and going.
That would be cheating. I love it. I used to program those stupid cards too.
What are they? I want to say Fortran, but that's not the right card. They're
Yeah, I'm a computer. What am I going to do with chocolate?
With a lifetime supply of chocolate.
I'm telling you exactly what it could do with it. You're telling it a lot.
I always imagined that the computer responded back, but I don't have an asshole.
Yeah.
I actually recognized her when years later she was in an episode of the Brady Bunch.
Yeah. And the one cool thing is, like, you find out where all the kids are from, except Charlie.
Well, but you're
So
given
they
the
never-
impression that he lives right near the
He
factory.
He lived near the factory, but again, you don't know where any
True.
of that is.
True.
It's left totally in the world of anywhere.
Brat. I was reading his lips, and the only word I got out was gobsmacker. Smacker.
Yeah.
Godstopper.
So obviously he was actually saying something related to what they were talking about.
Yeah, little did they know people would actually be trying to read his lips like
Yeah.
40 some years later. Well, 50 years now.
Well, sometimes I have a hard time hearing,
Yeah.
so
She's learned to read lips.
well, I'm not proficient at it, but it's like sometimes I can figure out what they're saying if I'm not quite catching what they said. But he definitely said gobstopper. So.
Mm-hmm.
You love just how heartbroken he is with every ticket.
And at the same time, though, he's mitigating his disappointment. He's being realistic. He's like, I
Right.
know I'm not going to win one.
Yeah.
Now, she's about to sing a song which is dramatically a soliloquy. And
very divisive in fandom.
and I wanted to speak to that because even though I don't enjoy it, and in fact, in many of the the commercial television airings of this, they cut it out because it's not truly necessary.
Yeah.
It does convey where she is. She wants to provide for her son, and it hurts her that she can't give him the things that she sees other children have, like opportunities to win this golden ticket and whatnot.
I mean, it's like when I was a kid, my mom worked 2 jobs just to put food on the table. So I could kind of relate to Charlie's mom doing the washing and all that, trying to do what she can to provide for the family. You know?
And this is not Diana Soul
No.
singing. It's a lady named Diana Lee. But like I said, a lot of people don't like this because it is kind of like a weird spot for a song.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's very useful in giving you that emotional attachment to him.
Yes.
It just reinforces how much his mother loves him.
Yep. It's heartbreaking when you have a child like this who is trying so hard to help support his family.
Mm-hmm.
And to know I can't give you the childhood that other children have,
Yeah, of course, a big difference between this and the book. In the book, his father's alive.
True. True.
That's the one thing that the Burton movie kept.
I honestly don't have a problem with the changes that were made here. I think elevate the story.
Yeah.
There are very few film adaptations that I feel, when they deviate from the book, are good. And I feel that this one is.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have a personal recollection of this film when it first aired, November 23rd, 1975. It was delayed by 45 minutes by an NFL game.
Oh, God.
My notes tell me that it was the Oakland Raiders and the Washington Redskins. That mattered not at all to me.
Well, it does to me because I'm a Redskin fan.
Well, I'll tell you, I hated sports because of that. This is why I'm not a sports ball follower.
I will say I always hated 60 minutes because when the game ran over, they always kept 60 minutes whole. And they would cut the later ones.
They cut everything else after that.
And I hated that because I wanted my entertainment. I didn't want 60 minutes.
The kid playing Mike TV, youngest kid in the cast.
Yep.
Also known as a real troublemaker on set.
And she seems proud of that.
Well, again, this is how these kids are this way because they have very permissive parents.
And that woman that just ducked her head in to ask him a question.
Yep.
She plays the same one that her husband is kidnapped.
Right.
Thanks
for mentioning
same actress.
that.
Same actress.
So, Not Till You're 12, son. I don't know why, but I have heard that it took 40 takes to get that line out.
I know. It's like, were they looking for a particular something, or was he just that bad?
I know.
It had to be a particular tone that the actor wanted. I mean, the director.
Now, the Wonka Chocolate Factory is obviously in England because that's where Charlie is and all that.
But it implies that it's in America because of the accent of Charlie and all of his family.
Oh, that's true.
It's filmed in Munich, Germany, though, so don't be confused by
Right.
that.
Well, I was thinking of the teacher with the English accent, so it made me think England. And those streets that are there, the streets that it's filmed on, look very English.
I was mistaken. This is the money that was for tobacco. The previous bar was bought by all of them together.
Yeah.
No, the previous bar was bought by him and the other grandpa.
Oh, right.
Just think. What a
And
wonderful
this is
moment.
beautiful, too, because Grandpa Joe is like a child, too, you know?
Yeah.
He's as excited as Charlie is.
Jack Albertson has that.
Yes.
Had that essence to him. He always had that younger than his age. He always played that childlike older fellow. And won an Academy Award, and one of the nominees that he beat was Gene Wilder for the producers.
Oh. I love this. He just puts the candy aside and gives him a hug.
Yeah. I do love this.
I love this. This is brilliant.
Your Majesty.
Your Majesty.
I love that. Your Majesty.
It's like, hey, Queenie, you want this box? You got a bit on it.
What is this actor's name? I know him from so many things.
I gotta see his face.
Oh. Hold on a second. What?
Anything they want.
No, I'm on a stream. I'm doing a show.
I think he always plays a cop.
Yes, almost always. They can have it. Anything they want. I love this.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
My mother thought I called her.
How
was
long
like,
will
no.
it give me to think it over?
I know.
My mother used to laugh at that so hard. Okay. Here we go. Paraguay, South America.
In Paraguay. And I know and lucky
And the picture they're about to show... Go ahead, you can tell them.
is Hitler's secretary.
Yep, Martin Bormann.
Yep.
Hitler's private secretary. I mean, how much of a
Ed
villain?
Peck. Ed Peck.
Ed Peck.
Yeah.
Happy Days. He played the recurring cop on Happy Days.
Officer Kirk.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, he did a lot of stuff. Episode of
I
Incredible Hulk.
love this. Let him sleep. Have one last dream, and there he is crying.
It tears. Oh God, it breaks your heart.
Favorite line in the movie? Friday scheduled to Monday.
Before we even learned it.
Before we've learned it.
I love it.
But since today's Tuesday, it doesn't matter in the slightest.
I love this character.
He is such a horrible teacher.
He's so
How did kids
quirky.
learn anything?
Oh, the way he teaches percentages here just drove me up the wall.
It's like 2. I can't do just 2.
2, I can't just do 2. And you make a good point, because he's got a British accent, even though all the kids in the class have American accents.
I want to know how much these Wonka bars cost and where the kids got the money to buy them.
I love this. Just 2. Actually, you can figure out 2 as a percentage of 1,000 quite easily.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's his whole.
Alexa, what is a percentage? Wait, how do I word this?
No, start over again.
Alexa, stop.
Alexa, what percentage is 2 out of 1,000?
2 is 0.2%.
0.2%. Here we go.
Thank you.
So Charlie finds a coin in the
don't
gutter.
Sing. Alexa, stop.
I'm not quite sure how to
Alexa,
open
stop. That coin is a Maria Teresa Taylor silver dollar. It's an Australian coin from 1780, and it was in continuous print up until today, actually.
So you have an Australian coin found in Germany.
When it's supposed to take place in America. Yes, yes. Thank you, Netter. That's exactly right.
And see, that's the wonderful thing about it. And they also, if you notice, they don't have many cars.
No.
Because they wanted to keep
Which
it timeless.
could date it, exactly.
Yeah, it keeps it timeless.
I love that pull tab to open it. I wish more candy bars had that.
Like those candy canes.
Yeah.
Like a big old candy cane like that. Although the
Now
one
look
thing
at
about
this.
a big old candy cane is you got to eat the whole thing because it'll just, get sticky all over
He
the place.
honestly wants to buy something for his Uncle Joe, or for his Grandpa Joe.
Now that thing was sitting out front. Do you
Yep.
think that
Yep.
he's there on it?
And he fully intends to give it to his Grandpa Joe. He puts it in his pocket. Wow.
And all of that little music flair. It's magic, man.
This is actually a very good soundtrack.
You get little goosebumps.
Yep. And he's like, maybe.
And it's such a...
Oh, I don't have the writing on the back of mine. I'm going to have to update mine.
No. A little peek. Just chocolate so far.
I love the piccolo here.
Bloop. Ba-da-da.
And then the fanfare.
And he's like, screw the chocolate, I got the ticket.
Right. Well, a lifetime supply of chocolate's coming, so...
Hold
Well,
on
of course,
tight
if
to
it-
that kid.
You're saying if this were any other city, man, people would be like grabbing that from the kid.
Yep. I love this, though. This guy,
Oh, yeah.
hold on to that ticket, and then he helps him get to the edge and goes, run straight home. Don't stop for anything.
So much for his paper out that day.
This is the first scene that was filmed for this movie.
Yep. Which is why he looks smaller now than he will later.
His voice actually changes throughout the filming.
Yeah.
Just like that girl's hair.
Yes, I was going to get to that later, but yes.
Okay.
We'll
yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah.
I don't think those scars on the side of his face are real. I think those are done with rigid collodion.
Because if it was real, it'd be quite a story.
No, now that I look at them close, I am almost certain that's rigid collodion. So because he knew this line, this is probably what he repeated to the other kids, sotto voce. And what is this? This is the temptation, right?
He just looks at him like nut. And
Yeah.
walks off.
And
Well,
and of
it's
course,
creepy.
And of course, another indication that Wonka knew exactly who the kids were that were going to get it is that
I think
he was
so.
there. Because he showed up way too quick.
So that's a Volkswagen, which you would expect to see in Germany, but they were so ubiquitous they could literally be in any country.
Yeah, you can still see them today.
Watch this. Well, when they realize he's telling the truth. But no one else. I love this. And honestly, I have to believe that if he had fallen flat on his face, he was going to do everything he could to go with Charlie.
Yep. Now, being someone who's bedridden a lot,
Yep.
your legs do go kooky.
Numb. Yeah.
I'm lucky that I have just enough to be able to kind of brace as I slide in my chair, but not a lot.
Yeah.
Although
Well,
I do
when
have.
my mom was bedridden, my sister had to turn her every 2 hours so she wouldn't get bed. Oh, you just got a flash of something there under his gown.
Watch it, Joe.
I just love the fact that Joe married Josephina and George married Georgina.
Right. Look at me, up and about.
I hear a song coming on.
I do too. 20 years he's been bedridden. Think about that.
So they should be able to be getting up so easily.
It's not easily. I mean, he's struggling. You can see it. But there's a little bit of magic that goes into this too.
Because Grandpa Joe's supposed to be 95. Although Jack Albertson, I think, was 60 something at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Or 70-ish. I forget exactly. In my eye.
I think the golden ticket is there for Charlie.
Mm-hmm. I love that little TV.
Yeah. And what's wrong with his shoes being under the bed? I mean, you'd expect them to be there, right?
Right, you would.
It's appropriate.
I it's just one of those little things they were talking about.
I get it.
But I tell you, they don't make shoes like that anymore that can last 40-some years.
Watch my speed. Oh, and I missed.
I love night shirts like that go all the way down.
Yeah.
I've had a couple.
But I have a golden ticket.
Golden day. So if he's been in bed that long, how long has it been since he wore those clothes?
Right?
I want to know how long it's been since.
I like how he puts on his hat and jacket over his pajamas. Let's go.
That'd be a nice little cosplay.
Yeah. I actually could probably pull that off.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, it's there that I'm shortly about to be.
And if you notice, we're like almost 40 minutes in and still no Willy Wonka.
True.
It's like one of the cool things about the film is he doesn't show up till about 45 minutes in.
Peter Ostrom did say that, he considered Grandpa Joe here to be like a mentor to him.
Yeah. He just seems like a good person, even today. Like I say, he became a vet.
Yeah.
Like I say, he loves animals, takes care of animals. But he doesn't have bad things to say. He still does conventions and festivals and stuff with all the other kids. He still associates with it.
Yep. So this is a very, very classic scene, and I'm getting a little ahead of the film here. But after reading the script, Gene Wilder said he would take the role of Willy Wonka under one condition, and that was he was allowed to limp, then suddenly somersault. The scene that we're about to see when he meets the children. Director Mel Stewart asked why he wanted to do that, and Wilder replied that having Wonka do this meant from that time on, no one would know if I'm lying or telling the truth.
And he worked with a stuntman for quite a while to get that tumble.
Many, many weeks. Yeah. So Stewart asked, he said, if I had said no, you wouldn't have done the picture. And Wilder said, I'm afraid that's the truth. Yeah, it took him 2 weeks training with 2 stuntmen to get the flip right. And when he comes out with the cane, yes,
and you can even see when the place where it sticks into the ground is a styrofoam rock, so that it'll stay there as he does his flip.
In fact,
go
ahead.
And none of the actors knew what was happening.
No, in fact, Julie Dawn Cole was so fooled by the limp, she was concerned. She thought that he had injured himself and it was going to postpone filming.
Mm-hmm. I love right on the last ding.
And personally, I think that this whole scene is filmed with perfect timing. They don't rush it.
Yep. He limps and he takes his time. And Gene Wilder came up with the look.
Yep. Yeah, he basically changed the color of the pants and a couple of other things about it.
Shortened the hat. The hat's not as tall as it was going to originally be.
Yeah, not as mine is taller than his is. He's actually got a stovepipe. Mine is a little flared at the top.
I actually like yours. I like that little flare top.
I actually got this for a penguin cosplay.
Oh, cool. God, Gene Wilder. What a classic.
I know. I miss him so much.
Oh, so funny. Right there. You can just see that little weird styrofoam.
How else could they have done it?
Bing! And that's showmanship.
You see the German, the American, the British flags. Get back, you.
And Veruca's wearing a real mink coat.
And you notice how they're all pushing and shoving, except for Charlie and his grandpa.
Yeah, they're always last. Because they're not in any rush.
Right. I think you will.
Of course, a lot of people like to think that Willy Wonka is actually an incarnation of the Doctor.
Well, I have such an unfortunate last name.
Yeah.
I know. The radiant Mrs. Goop.
Sam B, it's a guarantee.
I never caught that before. His last name is actually TV.
Yep.
Honestly, though, I think Grandpa Joe's hat is more my style than this,
Yeah.
but you know.
That little crushed. Well, okay, it's not a trilby, is it?
No, it's not a trilby. I think it might actually be a fedora. I got to see it again.
Okay.
Well,
could be-
fedora is a general style. It's a
Yeah,
specific
yeah.
type of fedora. In fact, I like Mrs. Gloop's hat too. It's very German.
Yep.
So much time and so little to see. Strike that, reverse that.
And these hands are the carpenters that built the
Yep.
set.
Nothing dangerous.
Slam grabs his hat.
I love that. That is a great stick.
Earthquakes, floods.
Loss of property or life or limb.
Like a whereas to the extent of. Makes you wonder if all that little teeny print actually says something.
Probably.
A drop.
Just a drop.
She is such a bitch. God, I love her.
See,
Oh, I just
and
saw
I
a
would be the
snapper.
type that'd be like, I'll sign it, but I'm going to read the whole damn thing.
And also, veruca is actually also another term for a wart.
Yeah.
Never between friends.
Never between friends.
I have always loved animated characters like this.
Okay, Mike TV actually signed his name Mike.
Excellent
period,
point.
period, period.
Grandpa
Yep.
Joe, sign away, Charlie. We have nothing to lose. He's kind of right.
But yeah, they told Mike TV to sign it TV instead of TEEVE.
Yeah, I saw-
Oh, I see.
It's like, okay.
And they did it to save time.
99 and 44/100% pure. That was the ad slogan of Ivory Soap products, the spokes model of which was a favorite of Netter of Netter's Network. Ivory Snow.
No.
Is that my soul that calls me by my name? William Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet. Are you sure? I always imagined this was some sort of an elevator that moved him to another level.
Yeah.
Practical effect, the room starts out, or the hallway starts out at 8 feet
Yeah.
and shrinks to 4 feet as it walks into perspective. And actually, at our Museum of Science and Industry here in Chicago, we've got something very similar.
Should never ever doubt what no one's sure about.
Exactly.
I love this line.
Mm-hmm.
Some of my realities become dreams.
You can eat almost everything. Yeah.
I will say one of the nice things about Wonka is that no matter what he did put the kids through, he let them have this time
Yeah.
to eat and enjoy before they, Mozart, actually.
Yep. Marriage of Figaro.
Yeah.
And she identifies it as Rachmaninoff, which I think is intentional. It tells you she's not as smart as she plays herself off to be.
She's
Right.
supposed to be a teacher.
Yep.
A music teacher.
Yep.
And this was the first time they were seeing this room.
Yep. The kids had been prevented from seeing this. This is their
Yeah.
actual first reaction.
And it's all there. No CGI, no special
Yep.
effects. It's
This
a
is
huge
all
warehouse.
in camera, real.
Yep. And a lot of it was edible. Not everything, though. But
Yeah, I'm wondering which, there's like, this is edible, that's not.
Literally,
This is edible,
yes.
that's not.
Only the things they were eating were edible.
right. But the river is chocolate.
Chocolate and cream and water,
And water.
and the cream curdled by the end of the day, so it smelled rank.
And they had to play with the formula because the first time they tried it, it was red, like blood red.
That fact did not surprise me because honestly, it kind of still does.
And he also is known to have hit some of those kids by
Yep.
accident with that walking stick.
Julie Dawn Cole and what's his name, Mike TV there, both
Yeah,
got
that-
hit.
Paris Theman, yeah. I love this one. Up, back.
That was also improvised. The kids were surprised by the backstepping. Simply look around. and
Such a
you-
beautiful song.
This
And I
is a
wanna
song
say-
I sing in my daily life on a very regular basis.
This is a song that was covered by the lovely Chase Masterson from Deep Space
Did he?
Nine.
Oh,
I saw
yes!
I
Yes,
saw her
yes, yes.
perform it live at a
Did he really
convention.
pull hair on my TV's head?
Yeah, and that reaction was
Genuine.
realistic too.
Yeah.
Ah,
There was a Food Network show that was like pastry and candy makers. It was like one of those elimination kind of team type things. I forget exactly what it was called. It was like Top Chef, but they had to recreate a Wonka-esque scene like this.
oh,
And for inspiration, they watched this film
yeah.
in a movie theater. So they went to a movie theater and watched it, and there were some people there, and they watched the film. And at the end, the lights came up, and they realized that the people that had been sitting there watching it with them were the kid actors.
Oh, wow.
they
Julie
got to
Dawn
meet them.
Cole did not like chocolate. So when she's reaching in and eating that chocolate, she was totally acting.
Yeah.
Also, she didn't know that the rock in the chocolate room that she was dropping down and smashing the watermelon-sized chocolate egg on was real.
Yeah.
She badly cut her knee falling on it.
You're supposed to be able to see the blood. I've never really tried to find the blood.
But the fact that she gets the take,
Yeah,
I think, is
that's credit. That's credit
Yeah.
to her. I do love these
so.
little
He's
teacup
about to
flowers.
pick up a flower, a buttercup, actually, and he drinks the contents. I don't know if there's any real content in it.
You can
think
even eat the
they're-
dishes.
I think
Yes,
there was.
but the flower itself is made out of wax.
Yeah.
And so when he bites it and chews it, he's got to keep it in his mouth and spit it out at the end of the take.
I bet it'd be cool to have like a little teacup like that.
Right?
Not an edible one, but one that looks like that.
I've been eating the dishes all the way through it. That's chocolate.
Chocolate river.
Ah, There's nothing like aerated chocolate. I can attest to that.
Well, yeah, I like how he does his little lean-in things with Mr. Salt.
It's creaming and sugaring time.
And all the Oompa Loompas are guys except one.
Yeah, one of them is a
female.
girl.
And it was rough being an Oompa Loompa. That makeup was melting off of them all the time.
There was actually 10 Oompa Loompas, one of which was female. They were known for hard
geography.
partying offset,
Teacher, that's
and
right.
they used to travel
She's
around in
geography,
limo.
not music.
Yeah, geography, not music. For some reason, I thought she was a music teacher. Hey, Sir Torin Clegane. How you doing?
Hey, Sir Torin. So all of this information about the Oompa Loompas actually comes right out of the book.
Well, they're about to do a prequel.
That would have been
Willy
cool.
Wonka. Well, no, they are doing a prequel to Willy Wonka. Haven't you heard about this?
I had heard about it, but I didn't put any stake in it because
Yeah, Timothy
didn't really see it
Chalamet.
happen.
Timothy Chalamet, young Paul Atreides, is going to play young Willy Wonka. I actually think that's pretty good casting. I'm not sure about the film as a whole, but I think the casting is pretty decent.
I always thought about. I did like that. Can it, you nit? The two brats fighting. But this idea, I want an Oompa Loompa. I want a slave of my very own.
Yeah. Of course. It looked like he was going to push him.
But obviously he wasn't because he didn't want anyone in that chocolate.
But I love this.
Yeah.
Help, police, murder.
Help, police, murder.
And who tries to help him? Charlie.
Yep. You're right. Charlie's the only one that actually tries to help him.
Yep. I like it. Watch the pipe. I love Wonka's attitude to everything.
Something else about the Oompa Loompas, because this was filmed in Germany, they had a hard time finding little people. There wasn't enough in Germany that they could find that were actors, so they got them from all over. Most of them did not speak English fluently.
And they were drunk half the time.
And they were, say again?
Drunk half the time. They were
Well,
always going
yeah,
out
pretty
drinking.
much. Chocolate River was made out of 150,000 gallons of water, real chocolate, and cream. The film, you're right. They had to change the formula because it turned blood red. Because the cream, the mixture spoiled, and by the end of the filming, it smelled terrible.
Yeah. And the little Augustus goop that flew up there's a little dummy.
Yep. Which honestly, I knew that, and I've watched it many times.
It's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah. So full.
So, Gene Wilder here, he actually speaks many languages in this film, including English, French, German, and Italian. Mm-hmm. And from what I can tell, he speaks them perfectly. He must have been well coached. So, again, we just mentioned that the Oompa Loompas most of them didn't speak English. So, as you can guess, the singing is dubbed.
And here's one of the things I did not like about the Tim Burton remake. I did not like the one Oompa Loompa.
One actor played all of them, yeah.
Digitally done over and over and over again.
I agree.
I mean, I like Deep Roy, but I did not like all that Deep Roy.
So, translation, ladies and gentlemen, now we are going to take a big little boat trip. Would you care to board the Wonkatania?
Which was originally it was supposed to be a 3-masted sailing ship.
Yeah,
but it just wasn't big enough.
Can you imagine that? It never would have fit into the tunnel.
Yeah, that's the reason they didn't do it.
the Wonkatania was on a track in the Chocolate River, but the actor playing the Oompa Loompa at the helm thought that he was actually steering it. For the sake of believability, the director didn't tell him the truth.
I would love a boat like the Wonkatania.
I love this.
So no human can be in the river, but a boat can.
Well, if it's a specially clean boat.
It is a paddle boat. I mean, there is no mechanical parts. It's not like it's spewing out gasoline or oil or anything.
Oh, that's true.
What she wants is a good kick in the pants.
She did not want to. She did not
she
want
didn't.
to stick the finger up her nose because she liked Peter Ostrom and didn't want to look nasty like that. In front
Exactly. Of him. Denise Nickerson. Mm.
Yeah, those two girls really did like him, and they also liked the son of one of the. I don't know if it was a cameraman. I forget exactly. But they switched days. Like one day, one girl would have lunch with Charlie, and then the other would have a lunch with the other kid. Then they would switch the next day. And in this scene, they really thought Gene Wilder was going crazy.
Oh, yeah. He just said, "Round the world and home again, that's the sailor's way." That's from William Allingham's Homeward Bound. Earlier, he had quoted John Mansfield's poem, Sea Fever. "All I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by."
Yeah. And that was a friend of I think the director. It was the only guy
because no one else
to have
would.
A centipede go across his head.
When Augustus was in the tube, he said, "The suspense is terrible. I hope it lasts." That's a quote from Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest.
What the hell are you singing?
We're rolling. And that look is genuine on those faces.
Yeah, they really thought he'd gone nuts. Yeah.
Keep on rowing.
So the lyrics from this song were taken actually from Roald Dahl's book. It's the only one that was actually taken from the book. Another quote that he made while on the boat was, "Swifter than eagles, stronger than lions." That's 2 Samuel 1:23.
Mm-hmm.
I do not want a paddle boat like that.
Hair cream.
Hair cream.
Sounds German.
It is.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give me your attention. You now come to the most interesting room in my factory, the most secret room at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, the inventing room. And everything that I've read says that his German was perfect, including his pronunciation of the R's in Der Inventing Room.
Eh. In a minute, they show him riding a bike in the mixer. They originally were supposed to have an Oompa Loompa do it.
Yep.
But none of them had legs long enough to reach the pedals. So, small rewrite.
And look how blue his eyes are.
Right?
My eyes are never that blue.
That sounds familiar.
Yes, it does.
And that's not bad. I love that. That's
Yeah.
foreshadowing.
Yeah. Does spring?
Yep.
Still too weak.
Angelic Night, yeah. Gives a little kick. I love it. That is a complete poem. Reflections on Breaking the Ice by Ogden Nash. That's a gourmet cooking for you. Anyway, he was singing Sweet Lover's Love in Spring. That's from Shakespeare's As You Like It.
And there's the meme.
Yep, the famous meme.
Yep.
And they would have to have figured out a way to make the machinery work without any material getting caught.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Although, if you think about it, you buy one, you never have to buy another one. They're not exactly going to make you a lot of money.
True. But in fairness, it's not like it's going to put you out of business.
No.
You know?
Not while there's chocolate.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. I love how he rolls his eyes.
Yeah, because they last forever, for crying out loud, right?
Yep.
It says he handed them out. He knows she only got one.
So here... Button, who's got the button?
And I like that Charlie knew where the button was.
Exactly. Because he was keyed at smashing the tomatoes.
God, I love that look on his
I thought
face.
they were tomatoes.
They were.
Keep in mind, it's a whole meal. It's not just candy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Confectionery Giant. Those bees.
They're yellow
Okay,
jackets.
go ahead.
They're yellow jackets, by the way.
Yeah, they're actually yellow jackets, right?
You could tell the story about Little Mike TV.
Yeah, Paris Temin, notorious troublemaker on the set, apparently released them from their bell jar and stung him in his face as a result.
So I just saw a Saturga game. No little people in Germany? I wonder why.
Not enough little people actors, but yes, I see what you're saying. In fact, speaking about Paris Themin, Gene Wilder said, yeah, he was a handful, even though he really liked working with all the kids.
Uh-huh. You just see her starting to change.
So this was filmed in the days before CGI, so one of the visual effects that needed to be accomplished was Violet turning blue here. At the time, development of the color layering was in process. Her face and her hair turned blue, and Mel Stewart worked with it, but he was only able to turn the face blue. Further development of color layering was perfected by the time Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope in 1997 was released, and was ready to use to make the lightsaber concept look good.
Mm-hmm.
Denise Nickerson's
It's actually styrofoam.
Yep, her blueberry scene was shot in the middle of the day, leaving a time frame in between takes for lunch. She had to stay in the blueberry costume for the duration and had to be turned over several times to keep her blood circulating. Obviously, these long shots are not color layering, that's makeup.
Yeah, I can say because there she's very blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the
she had-
Bluebirds were terrible, terrible blueberry drivers.
She said that she had a very Violet-esque experience in real life. One day in math class, the kids started pointing at her and laughing, and one of her friends told her she was turning purple. The makeup that had been used on her from the film had apparently seeped into her pores and started to resurface, which she jokingly remarked prevented her from getting any dates at school.
Well, Gatsby's are taking her to the juicing room. What exactly are they going to do to her?
Squeeze the juice out of her.
he's so evil the way he does
Right?
it.
Okay. So here we have the lickable wallpaper, which, as you can guess, is just normal wallpaper. Peter Osterman said that it was pretty gross.
Yeah.
Now,
Take it, Troy.
yeah, so if you read in IMDb, I'll tell you what it says in IMDb, and it is flat wrong. In IMDb, it says, contrary to popular belief, snozberry is not a euphemism for a certain male body part. In the 1948 book, Sometime Never, Roald Dahl stated that snozberries were the main diet of gremlins, described as sweet, juicy red fruit that grew in orchards. That wasn't snozberries. That was snozcumbers. The snozberries were being a certain male body part was explicitly stated in Roald Dahl's My Uncle Waldo, which I read firsthand. So when she says the snozberries taste like snozberries, who's ever tasted a snozberry, you just did, girl, and you'll discover them again later in life. So Peter Osterman said that he and Jack... Go ahead.
I said this may look fun, but the metal around that silo was very sharp.
Yeah.
And very dangerous to be around. And the harnesses that they were in were definitely
painful.
Compromising their snozberries, let's just say.
Exactly right.
Melissa's saying.
But I don't know. I think if
Willy
you know
Wonka
those
is
things going
secretly
into it, it might have been a
Jigsaw.
lot more fun.
Yeah, Melissa's saying Willy Wonka is secretly Jigsaw.
There have been fan theories that this is actually meant to be Dante's Inferno, that each one of the kids is being punished for their sins, their specific sins, gluttony and so forth.
I'm guessing those are soap bubbles.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
I think I hit in your pocket.
Little green screen.
Yep. I'm going too high.
Then why are you moving your arms like that to go higher?
Yeah, good point.
The Foley artist.
Yep,
Got
the Foley artist did the belches. That's right.
Yeah. And he's supposed to be one of the better belching sound effect guys. Can you imagine being like a Foley artist and needing weird sounds? You just carry a recorder around with you, and every time you belch, just record it or other bodily functions.
Right.
My stomach's growling. Record.
Right, exactly.
But would that one sip that they had make them burp that much?
Well, that's the conceit of the fizzy lifting drink. It's so full of bubbles that it fills you up and lifts you off the ground. I always wondered about that. If they're quadruple-sized geese laying octuple-sized eggs, those poor geese!
Yeah.
An omelet fit for a king.
This was being filmed on Veruca's birthday. Well,
Her
Julie got
13th
told.
birthday specifically, yes.
Yep.
And she was gifted one of these eggs for her birthday.
Yep.
Turns out, though, that they are real eggs, so they eventually spoil, and she had to get rid of it.
What kind of an egg?
I have to imagine ostrich, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be a big ostrich egg.
Oh, ostrich eggs are huge.
Yeah, that's about right for an ostrich egg.
And that is my favorite line in the film.
Yep.
Nonsense now and then is relished by the wisest men.
Yep.
That's the quote I use in life, actually.
I
No
agree with you,
nonsense
yeah.
Now and then is relished by the wisest men. A bean feast. You know what a bean feast is, right?
Yes, it's a British luncheon that's provided by an employer, usually
Yeah.
out in the countryside.
You said she falls on an egg during this?
Pardon me?
Did you say earlier she falls on an egg and hurts herself here?
No. In the chocolate room, she falls on a stone, and she didn't realize it was a real stone, and it really gashed her knee.
Compose yourself.
Now, keep in mind that this was filmed in 71. I didn't see it until 75. So I was about 4 or 5 years old, and Julie Dawn Cole was just beginning to develop. So young Troy found her very, very interesting.
And she's the one whose hair keeps changing length?
Yes. So throughout the film, she kept getting split ends. And you'll notice that through the film, her hair gets shorter and shorter because they were using flames to burn off the split ends. But that doesn't help the continuity of the length of her hair.
That's a great little note.
Yep, I agree. She was a bad egg. Down the garbage chute.
I like it. He's just so matter of fact about it. Well, garbage chute.
He was a bad egg, too. There's going to be a lot of garbage today. I love this.
Veruca went first.
He cares. He's worried.
Uh-huh.
He's like, well, yeah, I guess. A little bit earlier, he said something about how the egg-decator works, and Grandpa Joe says, it's an educated egg-decator. That's actually an improvised line.
Mm-hmm.
That scene where she's running around and knocking stuff over, they say it took 39 takes, and as you can imagine, they'd have to reset those boxes every time.
Yep.
The mother and the father. I asked my mother about that line. I said, why are the parents to blame if the kids are spoiled rotten? And my mother explained to me, you are a reflection of your parents. If we don't teach you what's right and wrong, it's our fault. That kind of always resonated with me.
And if you notice, each successive transportation has exactly the number of seats it needs.
Yeah.
Yes.
No more.
Also, although they don't say it, I always imagined it was mostly fizzy lifting drinks they were putting into this.
Yeah.
He says it's all of these things, but I always figured there had to be fizzy lifting drink too. Keep your eyes open and your mouth shut.
Got more gas than a
It's got more gas than a politician.
Such a great line. And then lions. It's also very steampunk.
Yeah.
Is that shaving cream, maybe?
Actually, no. I'm glad you asked that. The foam
it's-
used to spurt out was a basic fire extinguisher. But what was unknown to the cast and crew was that the foam itself was a potent skin irritant.
Yeah,
So
they
after
were
shooting the
pretty
scene, the
miserable.
actors and actresses were left in considerable discomfort as their skin got puffy. Yeah. And they required medical treatment.
Yeah, I think it delayed filming.
It did. Hasa Wahano. So something that I missed was in the inventing room, Violet says a line, and coming up, Mike TV says a line, and they say it with a British inflection. And that's specifically because they were hanging around with Julie Dawn Cole, and they didn't intentionally, but inadvertently picked up that accent from her. You should open your mouth a little wider when you speak. Do you realize what he's invented here? This is a Star Trek transporter. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Just makes you wonder if somewhere in the world there is still that big Wonka bar.
Good question, yeah.
And what was it made out of?
Oh, I'm sure it was wood or something similar.
Probably styrofoam. The way
styrofoam at that size, yeah.
Something that big in wood, that'd have been really heavy. I like his little lift that he has.
You notice that? Mike TV, he doesn't believe it, but Charlie takes it no problem. He's told to take it, he takes it.
It's WonkaVision.
It's a TV dinner.
Before WandaVision, there was WonkaVision. I love the look on his face. He's like, yep, the kid's bit.
Pretty sure I could. And you notice the Oompa Loompas putting their goggles on like, no.
Well, then stop. Don't come back.
He's over your head in a million pieces.
Let's see if we can get them back together.
Oh, a million pieces take like that we put together.
Am I coming in clear? That's
you caught it. There it is. Exactly. Yeah. That was completely unintentional.
Yeah.
It's not like he was purposely affecting a British accent.
Well, when you're that young and you do hang around, like sometimes because I watch a lot of British comedy shows, I will sometimes say something in the British way.
Yep.
Like I remember I used to sell posts like, "Oh, you stupid git."
Netter grew up with a mom who spoke with a British accent, so she's very susceptible. Yeah. We watch a little bit of Doctor Who, and all day long she's speaking with a British accent.
The British shows, my accent will come out, and even my grandfather's Scottish will come out every once in a while.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta tell you guys about a dream I had the other night. You guys were the companions of the Third Doctor. And
so Pertwee.
Pertwee. And then he regenerated into Baker. But then somehow you got separated and he left you guys a note or something like that. And I don't know if I was Tom Baker or like the point of view of Tom Baker, and I was like a little in the weird head, and I was like, I don't know, do I leave something behind? I don't know, it was weird. But you guys were companions of the Third Doctor.
Cool. I like that. Actually, I always thought of us more as Rory and Amy, but either way's fine.
I like Rory and Amy.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
You get no commercials. Now, I'm not sure why, but my understanding from the trivia is that this particular scene took a lot of takes to get right, and I'm guessing it must have been the choreography.
Yeah, there's a lot more choreography there.
Well, yeah, because it sounds like they can really do cartwheels very well.
Yeah, he tried, though.
I love the fact that he cares, you know,
Yeah.
to
yeah.
ask.
And you're about to see his office where everything is cut in half.
Yep.
Which is
And
so
they did
weird.
that. And they did that because they didn't want a normal office. They wanted a
Right.
Wonka type office. So they cut everything in half, including, by accident, the coffee pot, which
Yep.
was a real coffee pot. And
Yep.
they didn't realize wasn't a prop until they were trying to make coffee. And it went everywhere, like activated or something.
Yeah,
That's
just
so
call it
funny.
scripting drinks. Kids like, did we do something wrong? Yeah, you did
But
something
yeah,
wrong.
they literally cut everything in half for the film.
I think that's brilliant. It's so Wonka, right?
Mm-hmm.
The torch of the mind lights the path to glory. No one can be twice punished for the same offense.
That must have been a very intense scene to do.
I would imagine so, yeah. I
And here
love
it
this.
goes.
This is my favorite scene. He's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, no. I can't do that.
He's like, comes along, it's like, you know what? Mr. Wonka was right. We broke the rules.
Yep. This is a kid with a good heart.
Yep.
And he leaves the gobstopper.
In a weary world.
Merchant of Venice. That's beautiful.
And I would be like, wait, what changed?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know what I won, but I'm happy I won.
That was safe work.
It doesn't. It's just funny.
Oh, the Wonka-vator.
The Great Glass Elevator.
One of the great endings in the films, which had to be quickly rewritten because the original ended on the word yippee,
Oh, yeah.
but they wanted a better ending, which I think was,
It actually kind of sets up the sequel because the sequel, of course, is the Great Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator,
yeah.
except for one.
Melissa says this movie has a slash level body count.
Although, as he said, they'll be restored to their former selves and a
Yeah.
bit wiser for the wear. In the book, they've got some scars, but they all survive.
will say I do like the way they were shown in the Burton film.
Which is book accurate, yes.
Yeah, I did like that.
For example, Mike TV being all stretched out from the taffy puller.
Yeah.
So this is obviously a helicopter shot. This is the town of, forgive my pronunciation, Nordlingen, Germany.
Which is in the bottom of a meteor crater.
Yes. How crazy is that?
That is awesome.
15.5 mile You can see the ridges of the crater edges in the top of the screen. This is not the town wall. Some stone structures and surrounding areas are speckled with tiny little diamonds from the impact.
Mm-hmm. So you can see it there, the horizon there.
Yeah.
God, it's so heartbreaking now thinking of Peter Ostrom's social post now.
The whole family.
Happily ever after.
He lived happily ever after. I think that's so sweet. Of all the fairy tales that end with happily ever after, I think this one is the sweetest. No pun intended.
Well, you could have said pun intended. I thought it would be a wonderful way to have a pun intended. Dodo Denny.
Yeah. She was in a lot of things, too, that I saw, and I just can't quite remember.
She did a lot of, she was in a lot of TV stuff. I think, too. Winkleman. I love the names of some of these people. And that, my friends, is Willy Wonka and the
One of my
Chocolate
favorite
Factory.
films. I thank you so much for having...
Mine
I thank
as well.
you every week for having me on your stream for these, but especially for this one. This one means so much to me.
And it does to me. And like I said, just like the one we're going to do next week, which is Seven Faces of Dr. Lowe. Older films that I saw when I was very young and just kind of set me on that way of seeing the world in a magical way as opposed to the drudgeries of daily life that a lot of people as an adult kind of find themselves in. I made sure I never lost that sense of wonder in the world. That is why I believe in Bigfoot and UFOs. And somewhere out there, there's a big factory filled with a chocolate river in the Wakatania.
Amen.
Why not? I mean, that's what the world needs, is the wonders of something like that rather than the absolute darkness that can kind of creep in. We need the light. And that is why a lot, that's probably a lot of the reason why I am so sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns a lot of the time is I need to be. It's not that I, am particularly wired that way, but I've kind of programmed myself to be. Because I have to be. I don't want to be dark and pessimistic and just waiting for the world to crap on me.
I do have to say, Big Al, the longer I've known you, the more I have come to appreciate that positive attitude of yours. I feel like when we first met, I kind of gave you some crap about it, but
yes, you did.
The longer I've gotten to know you, the more I appreciate it. And
Oh
I'm
yeah,
so,
I mean,
so thankful.
I will admit there were a few times when I was like, Troy's like he's in Chicago.
No, I feel like in a world where you can be anything, be Grandpa Joe.
Right.
You know, and I think that you're a lot like Grandpa Joe.
Or
And I
be a
can't help but
Charlie.
appreciate that.
Be a
about you.
Charlie.
Well,
Even
yeah.
be a Willy Wonka. If you have a little bit of a grumpy side, you can still be Willy Wonka. He's got a little
Kind.
gruffness,
Yeah.
but always be good and kind, and know that they're still good. And even if someone is bad, underneath somewhere, something turned them to be that way. They can't always just have been that way.
Yeah.
You know? But like I said, I'm not going to be waiting for the world to collide in on me. That's just not what I'm about. And I thank a lot of these films for that. But like I said, next week, that's right, doing it 1 week after. God bless Netter for giving me that week. Or well, this week, and to keep next week when we do Seven Faces of Dr. Lowe.
Which I've never seen before. I've
You've
never
seen it?
I've never.
Oh,
So this will
wow.
be a first time for me.
That I am very shocked about because it's kind of a, you know, I will say it's not as popular.
True.
It's not in the public conscience as much as Willy Wonka. It's harder to find. It's from 1964, but it's just a unique fantasy film starring Tony Randall. It also has Barbara Eden and just some really great character actors in it.
I was going to say the two that you just mentioned are a cast that I could totally get behind.
Yeah, it's set in the West. It's actually considered a Western by a lot of people. So, but it's kind of also got that kind of timeless feeling about it.
Good.
And I've always loved it. It's directed by George Powell, who many of you will know from War of the Worlds and Time Machine. So, you know, you kind of got that a little bit. There's just a lot of great fantasy elements to it. So, but yeah, next week, Seven Faces of Dr. Lowe from 1964. Looking forward to sharing that with everybody, and I hope everybody likes it as much as I do. And so that's next week, but the Saturday after Thanksgiving, what's ahead, Netter?
Let's see. That will be a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Awesome.
And of course, you know, giving people time to get it. There's also going to be a Charlie Brown Christmas that I'll be doing for Christmas, so make sure you get your movies ready.
Okay, right now oh, sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was going to say I'm not sure what in the week after that is going to be. I don't know if Netter's going to take it or if I'm going to do it. And if I do it, I'm not sure what it's going to be. I do know I'm going to be doing a rewatch of Love Actually, but that's going to be it's going to be a special Friday episode, probably around 8 or 9. I'm not quite sure. I'm trying to keep it around 8 because I don't want to interlope on your Friday show,
Sure.
Troy. But I'm trying to arrange it with my former co-host for my kind of cast, Sierra,
Right.
also known as Soups Girl. She's a big Superman fan. I've just been wanting to do a film with her. She was going to do Dirty Dancing, but had a family event happen on her. So I want to do Love Actually. Of course, you guys are invited.
Awesome.
We can have a nice little fun time with one of the great Christmas British films. Oh, it's such a great cast.
Sure.
Oh man,
another
cast
film
is
I've never actually
loaded.
seen myself.
You've never seen Love Actually?
No.
Dude.
I know. But that's why I love doing these things because, you know.
Yeah, you guys have shown me films I never saw, like Baby Boom and that Trinity one.
Yep,
Never saw
Trinity.
that one.
I love Trinity.
The Lake House, I'd never seen that.
Really? Okay, great.
Yeah, like Memento. I never saw that.
So, oh yeah, Memento. So, but on my channel on Fridays, next Friday, I will have seen Ghostbusters Afterlife. So I will be doing my live hot take on it next week. The following week, come to my channel, join my Discord. I will be streaming a special fan edit of the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Ooh.
One you've never seen before. Even if you've seen the Star Wars Holiday Special, you've never seen this version of the Holiday Special. Well, actually, Al, you probably have because I sent you a DVD of it.
I've never. Well, see, I just moved, and all my stuff is still kind of happening.
I know it is, yeah.
And I do the MP4 thing now, so.
True.
If
So
you're
I will
able
be
to
streaming
send me
it.
an MP4, I would appreciate it. Or
I can if you'd like me to, but I will be
I have a little
streaming
bit
it
more power.
live on my Discord. So you come over to my Discord, watch it with me live. I'm gonna try to still stream on YouTube, but all you'll hear is me, because Aged Boomer will be over with me on the Discord, and I'm just praying it works. I think it will.
You should do a test run.
We did last night.
Oh, okay.
And it seemed to work. I think it's going to work, so that's how we're going to do it.
Cool. So we got that ahead. Also, ahead for me this coming week, we have Tuesday night on the Catholic Bible Geek. I will be joining the Catholic Bible Geek, aka Professor Geek, as we do the next 3 chapters in the 2 Towers. A lot of us Smeagol in this one. And on Thursday on the Professor Geek channel, that's at 10 o'clock or 10:15 on Tuesday, depending how he's running. And on Thursday at 10, we're doing the next 5 or 5, I forget, but kind of check out Professor Geek and the next chapters of Allegiance, the Star Wars EU great book that I will be reading tomorrow night. I'll be doing my chapters then. I did 2 Towers tonight, so I always do the one on Tuesday first, then I do the Thursday one on Sunday. So that's how this week's running. I'm going to try to create something this week. I'm not quite sure what it's going to be yet. Don't know if it's going to be a review or a ramble. We will see. Like I said, with the new computer, I have a new program to try to figure out how to do a video, so that'll be something to try.
Getting used to the new computer.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff getting used to, but I hope to get out something. I hope you enjoyed my Christmas movies so far report that I did. Some really cute stuff that's been on Hallmark and even a couple on Netflix. That British one shocked me. I loved that for some reason. I mean, love may be a bit much, but it was cute. I mean, Kelsey Grammer, John Cleese, hello.
Sure.
I was like, really? I'd never heard of this thing. Just kind of came across it. And I'm like, I'm watching this. And just a real nice, very Hallmarky kind of film, except for some language. But really enjoyable. What's ahead for Cartan? Anything interesting? I saw you had had some toy stuff happening.
I did do a toy video over on the Cartan, the Klingon Cleric. I have maybe a little bit closer to Ramnite, which is the winter solstice celebration for the Klingons. I will be doing another cooking video where I will be presenting my recipe for Pippius Claw. Tomorrow night, of course, over on my regular Troy Pacelli channel. No. What am I saying?
Age of Boomer.
Age of Boomer's channel. My apologies. I am co-hosting on his show, Geeky Geezers, where we will be talking about the week's, news and review. I will probably have some more toy videos coming up on my channel. Star Wars toys. Again, back to Cartan, the Klingon Cleric. I did get a couple of books, Klingon books, that I will be showing and presenting, talking about over on that channel. As of last night, my channel had hit 300 subscribers. And then it dropped down to 295 again.
Oh, don't you hate it when that happens?
Well, I was talking with some other YouTubers, more experienced YouTubers, and they say that happens. They're
Yeah.
figuring that by Monday, after YouTube does its little thing and sees that these people that subscribed to me last night weren't bots, those will come back. So my hope is that next week I find I'm back up to 300, and maybe I'll make Friday, in addition to talking about Ghostbusters Afterlife, I will probably also be celebrating, 300 subscribers. Real quick, we better say goodbye to Team Ghost Planet 2.0 and Evelyn Hampton. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Goodbye,
but
guys.
since you guys had to jump out,
Thank you
hope
you
enjoyed
so
it.
much for joining us. And I see Wolfie and Agent Boomer. popped in
And
at the
welcome,
last
Wolfie
minute.
and Agent Boomer. You like the hat? I'm glad you like it. Yeah.
But I'm thankful for all you guys, all my op pals, for dropping by tonight. Netter, anything coming from you?
I'm hoping to drop a video.
So that's a no.
Well, I've been doing so much overtime with work since we got this
Yeah.
new program, and it's like I have not left my normal time. I'm supposed to be off at 4. The earliest I've been getting off has been like 6, 7 o'clock.
Ugh.
So it's like, yeah, this new program that we have is so slow, and it's like we kind of hate it because it's so slow. And most of it is the fact that it can't handle the volume of the orders we need to put in. So it makes me nuts. It's like that's my sole job, is putting in these orders and creating voucher codes so that people can actually use our products.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
Wolfie says he knows that I love to dress for the occasion. That's absolutely true. You guys know I'm a cosplayer.
Yeah.
And I got to say, I was I guested on T and Telly, Maria T and Telly yesterday, and she sent me a private message saying, "Thanks for coming on. You look so dapper." I'm like, "Oh, thank you so much. I super appreciate that."
Yep. But like I said, thank you, Troy and Nanette, for coming and sharing this wonderful world of pure imagination tonight. Thank you for everyone in the chat who joined us at any point, and anyone who was watched us from beginning to end. A special thank you to you. Like I said, next week, Seven Faces of Dr. Lowe, 1964, starring Tony Randall. Great film. So keep an eye out for it. I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. A very happy Sunday. And of course, I know Thanksgiving's coming up. Time to start thinking turkey.
Everyone's got their turkeys. If you haven't, go get one now because apparently they're hard to find.
Yeah, Mom and I are going to be getting a rotisserie chicken from a supermarket to have.
Okay.
They have some really nice ones, and between the two of us, that's more than we need. So, but that'll be something to talk about next week.
Sure.
Troy and I were able to find a turkey, and we were also able to find a spiral ham to have for Christmas.
Yeah, we're not waiting.
Ham. I will say one thing about Maryland. Southern Maryland, we have what's called stuffed ham. Southern St. Mary's stuffed ham, Southern Maryland stuffed ham is also called.
What's it stuffed with?
It is a combination of spices and cabbage and kale, like red pepper and salt, and onions and lots of other goodies. And everybody has a different recipe, which is fine. And you kind of cut slices in ham, and you literally stuff it with this green stuff till it's almost popping, and then you kind of put it in like cheesecloth, and you boil it, and then you take it. And it's usually sort of cold, but oh my god, the sandwiches you can get out of that! It's great
That does
for omelets.
sound like interesting, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look it up. Lots of different. I mean, if you got 10 people that make stuffed ham, you got 10 different recipes. Everybody's got. And my uncle makes a great one that makes your nose run. Oh God, that's good. But, yeah, it's like
Sounds
a
like
real,
it's spicy.
real regional thing. I love regionals. I love food that's regional. But once again, thanks everyone for joining us. I hope everyone has a very happy Sunday. And until next week when we do Seven Faces of Dr. Lowe, everybody have a great time and enjoy whatever you're going to be watching. Take care. Bye-bye.
Night, everyone.